The collision between Skillibeng and Vybz Kartel isn't just a rivalry. It is a seismic shift in the very DNA of dancehall music. If you think you already know who wins this battle, you are about to be shocked by the truth beneath the surface. From the crammed sound systems of Kingston to international stages in London and Miami, two names echo. On one side, the ageless warlord, the lyrical professor who rules from behind prison bars, Vybz Kartel. On the other, the new age predator with the deep, hypnotic cadence, Skillibeng. This is not a story about a beef. This is about a changing of the guard, a controversy that divides generations, and a shocking financial reality. The student might have just surpassed the master where it hurts most, the global algorithm. To understand why this comparison tears dancehall apart, you must understand Vybz Kartel's chokehold on the culture. He didn't just make music, he was a chemical reaction. He deconstructed what it meant to be a DJ, injecting raw street science into every bar. But here is the first emotional trigger. Vybz Kartel has been serving a life sentence for murder since 2014. For 10 years, he has recorded hit after hit from a prison cell, released over a dozen albums, and topped iTunes reggae charts without stepping on a stage. How? Fanatical loyalty bordering on a cult, the Gaza Nation. While Kartel rotted in a cell, fighting diabetes that nearly took his leg, a young man from St. Thomas was quietly building a skyscraper on the rubble of old dancehall. Enter Skillibeng. If Kartel is a precise scalpel, Skillibeng is a slow-motion earthquake. When he dropped Breek Pan Breek, old head said his flow was lazy, too dark, too repetitive. But here is the surprise. Skillibeng didn't slow down because he couldn't rap fast. He slowed down time itself. He created a pocket in the rhythm that let the bass breathe and the tension build for 3 minutes straight. While Kartel told stories from a top-tier lyrical perspective, Skillibeng became the audio embodiment of the ghetto's heartbeat. He didn't need punchlines that required a thesaurus. He needed vibes that made the concrete shake. Now let's talk lifestyle, the ultimate contrast. Vybz Kartel, before prison, was a spectacle. White Bentleys, the infamous skin bleaching that sparked global controversy, and a direct challenge to Mavado's gully with his Gaza empire. He made the criminal lifestyle look like high fashion. Even now, he controls a merchandise empire and releases workout videos. He is the most prolific prisoner in music history. That triggers sympathy and respect. How do you beat a man who refuses to shut up even when the state locks him in a box? Skillibeng's lifestyle is quieter but infinitely more dangerous in the streaming era. He is the son of the soil, walking out of the trenches. He doesn't need a white Bentley. He needs a Jeep for the rocky roads of St. Thomas. He rarely smiles in photos. There is a stoicism that Kartel never had. Kartel is chaotic energy. Skillibeng is controlled detonation. Here is the controversy. The old guard argues Skillibeng has no substance. Play a Skillibeng song without the bass. What do you hear? Nothing. They say his music is a TikTok fad. But that dismissal is exactly why the youth are turning their backs. Because Skillibeng isn't trying to be a poet. He is trying to be a weapon. Look at global metrics. Vybz Kartel struggles to break the mainstream American market because his sound is raw, fast-paced, 90 BPM dancehall. Skillibeng slowed it to 65 BPM. What happens at 65 BPM? Trap music. Hip-hop. Crocodile Teeth wasn't just a dancehall hit. It was a global streaming monster remixed with Nicki Minaj. Nicki doesn't jump on a track unless the algorithm screams at her. Then Skillibeng dropped Run and Pro, playlist next to Drake and Future. Kartel chased a Drake feature for a decade. Skillibeng got it quietly, without drama. That is the surprise. The lazy kid from the east side breached the walls of American radio, while the world boss watched from his prison throne. Let me trigger another psychological response: loss of fear. For 20 years, dancehall fans were afraid to say anyone was better than Kartel. But Skillibeng is the first artist who makes listeners feel nothing. No fear, no intimidation. When he says East Side badness, you believe him, but you don't look over your shoulder. Kartel's music creates paranoia. Skillibeng's creates tranquility within chaos. Watch the video of Skillibeng walking through Morant Bay with no security, just the people marching with him. Compare that to Kartel surrounded by a phalanx of black-clad soldiers. Which lifestyle is more aspirational in 2026? The young man today doesn't want to look like a warlord. He wants to look like a CEO of Vybz. He wants the money without the handcuffs. Kartel is wearing handcuffs. Skillibeng is wearing a Rolex. But do not mistake this for a eulogy. Here is the emotional twist. Vybz Kartel is dying. His battle with Graves' disease and heart issues is well documented. He looks frail in recent photos. When you listen to Kartel now, you aren't just hearing a hit. You are hearing a man's last will and testament. King of the Dancehall is no longer a brag. It is a historical document. This triggers scarcity. Humans value what they are about to lose. Skillibeng is abundant on every Instagram reel and TikTok. Kartel is the ghost in the machine. The real battle, the viral conversation I want in your comments, is legacy versus relevance. Vybz Kartel is legacy. He shaped the slang, the dances, the foundation. When you hear Life Sweet, that is Kartel. Skillibeng is relevance, the building on top of that foundation. Here is the secret most YouTubers won't tell you. Skillibeng wouldn't exist without Kartel. But Kartel needed Skillibeng to remind the world that dancehall could evolve. Between 2018 and 2020, dancehall was in a coma, recycled rhythms. Skillibeng woke the genre by breaking the BPM, the diction, the song structure. He made it weird, and weird made it global. Analyze the lyricism because this is the smoking gun. Vybz Kartel is a master of double entendre and medical metaphor. He sings about a stethoscope, and you know exactly what body part he means, but it sounds like Shakespeare in the gutter. Skillibeng is a master of the ad-lib and the vibe. Listen to Sessions. Me love when D gild dem wine and ball. Simple, repetitive, but the echo is hypnotic. This creates a generational war. Gen X and older millennials want Kartel's cleverness. Gen Z wants Skillibeng's hypnosis. This is not good versus bad. It is then versus now. Let me give you a specific comparison that will shock you. Vybz Kartel with Rihanna. Legendary. But that was 2009, almost 20 years ago. Skillibeng has tracks with Future, Popcorn, French Montana. The velocity of Skillibeng's rise is steeper. Kartel climbed a mountain over 20 years. Skillibeng flew up in a helicopter in 4 years. That doesn't mean he is better. It means he is smarter about the digital space. Skillibeng understood the short attention span economy. His hooks are 3 words, crocodile teeth. Kartel's hooks are sometimes full sentences. In the era of scrolling, the 3-word hook wins the algorithm. But here is the emotional low blow, the thing that will make Jamaicans scream at the screen. Vybz Kartel went to prison for murder. The conviction limits his ability to tour the US, UK, and Canada, the biggest money markets. Without tours, an artist is a ghost. Skillibeng is touring New York, London, Tokyo. He is collecting physical cash. Kartel collects royalty checks from a cell. The lifestyle of freedom versus captivity. Which do you envy? Don't lie. You envy the guy who can walk into a club and hear his own song, not the guy who hears it on a prison radio. However, before you crown Skillibeng, here is the controversy that keeps this debate alive. Skillibeng cannot touch the classic status of Kartel. 10 years from now, will we play Breek Pan Breek at a wedding? Probably not. Will we play Fever or Fully Load? Absolutely. Kartel made timeless music. Skillibeng made timely music. Timely burns bright and fast. Timeless glows forever. That is the Achilles heel of the East CDAS movement. The tempo is so slow, the auto-tune so heavy, that it might age like milk. Kartel's acoustic freestyles still sound fresh because they rely on wit, not production tricks. So who wins? The answer is unsatisfying, which is why it will make a great comment section fight. It depends on your definition of success. If success is money in the bank at 25, Skillibeng wins. If success is cultural domination over 20 years, Kartel wins. If success is moral lifestyle, neither wins, but Skillibeng is closer because he isn't in prison. If success is global streaming numbers, Skillibeng is currently lapping Kartel. Look at the thumbnail. On the left, Kartel, the king in chains, the genius who gave his freedom for the art. On the right, Skillibeng, the prince of the slow burn. The reality is that dancehall needs both of them. The genre is hemorrhaging listeners to Afrobeats and Amapiano. Afrobeats has unity, dancehall has civil war. As long as we argue Skillibeng versus Kartel, we aren't paying attention to Burna Boy and Rema eating our lunch. That infighting is a luxury we cannot afford. But that's another video. Here is the final hook, the emotional cliffhanger that changes everything. If Vybz Kartel is healthy enough to enter the studio with the new energy of the youth, does Skillibeng stand a chance? Or does the returning king immediately crush the prince? Imagine a free, healthy Vybz Kartel on a crocodile teeth rhythm. Imagine the lyrical assassination. That is the movie we are all waiting to watch. Right now, Skillibeng is winning the battle of the present. But Vybz Kartel is the master of the future. He has already written songs from jail that predicted the rise of his enemies. If he walks out, the prophecy might be terrifying for Skillibeng. Do not sit there in silence. Scroll down to the comment section and type either Gaza if you stand with the world boss, the lyrical hitman who made dancehall what it is despite behind bars. Or type East if you think the future is slow, dark, and heavy. If you think Skillibeng's international crossover has officially dethroned the old king. Tag your friend who still plays 2009 Kartel and tell them they are living in the past. Tag your little cousin who thinks dancehall started with TikTok and ask if he even knows who Gaza Slim is. The most controversial part of this video isn't the facts. It is the loyalty you are about to display in that comment box. Skillibeng has the streams. Vybz Kartel has the soul. But this channel has the receipts. Hit like if you survive this debate. Subscribe if you want me to break down who actually made more money last year. And turn on notifications because when that UK court ruling drops on Kartel's appeal, I need you to be the first to say, I told you so. The streets are watching. The legend is dying. The new blood is rising. You just watched the most honest breakdown of the war between the cell and the streets. Now pick a side. I am reading every single comment.